Why are so many people overwhelmed with clutter? Disorganization is causing shame, suffering, friendships, time, money. People just like you wondering where and how to create an organized lifestyle. This podcast offers expert tips and solutions for your clutter obstacles. My name is Rachel Seavey, and this is the Organized Podcast. Hey, collectors. Welcome to the Organized Podcast. I'm your host, professional organizer, Rachel Seavey, and today is Self-Care Sunday. Self-care should be every day. That's just a note. But I like Sundays for my special self-care routines because I work during the week, and Saturdays I usually do my chores. So, Sunday is a time that you can really take to spend on yourself. I know a lot of you might be retired, so maybe you have the opportunity for self-care during the week. Um, Extra special self-care is kind of what I'm talking about. And I spend a lot of time in people's homes and I know that they're neglecting themselves. I'm just going to keep it real. So I made some lists here of ways that you can take care of yourself, whether it's a Sunday or not. I'm going to start with your physical self, okay? We were at this man's house last month and his hair was like soaking wet, but like soaking, like dripping everywhere. And I was like, what's going on? He's like, oh, I just got out of the shower. And so like we didn't really think about it. Like, okay, well, dry your freaking hair, dude. We didn't really think about it until like later in the day, the shower was like cobweb central and it had a bunch of cat shit and litter in it. Just okay. So I know you try your best. If you do try your best, I don't know. So that is actually what made me think like, okay, I need a self-care podcast because this person is not showering even though they're saying they are. And that's okay. Sometimes your shower might be full of diapers. I've seen that actually lots of times. Or clutter boxes, like it's a great place like the bathtub to hold things. So we're going to start with just washing your hair. Um, maybe you can't conventionally wash your hair in the shower. Perhaps you could use the sink. There's dry shampoo. Like I love dry shampoo. You just spray it on and you leave it for a couple minutes or something, and then you just brush it, and it really gets a lot of like the oil and stuff out of your hair, and it helps it smell really fresh and nice. So taking care of our hair and our scalp, it's really nice to use some peppermint oil, like on the temples of your head right here for stress. You could just do that as a little extra self-care today or whenever. Massaging your scalp. So we're going head to toe here. Next, closing your eyes and meditating. Okay. That is self-care. Tuning out all the atrocities of the world, tuning out all the guilt for not having. There are guided meditations online. I know of some great guided meditations. I will definitely link to one in the comments. Another thing that you could do is you could put a little bit of lavender oil, just a couple drops, because it'll be overwhelming if you put too much, like on a warm washcloth. And while you have your eyes closed, you inhale the lavender oil into your body and just relax. Have your eyes closed. This is more of just a deep relaxation. Next, brush your teeth. I know a lot of people, when we get depressed, tend to not focus on hygiene. And I get it. I've definitely been there. So, brushing your teeth. I currently have two clients right now that can't find their dentures. Well, one can't find her denture and the other doesn't fit because she hasn't worn it since COVID. So, like, handle that. Get your teeth looked at, buy a new denture, get the thing that doesn't fit fixed, but like get some good oral health care going. Take some time to floss or use the water pick if you haven't. I like to put those whitening strips on my teeth. I don't know how good they are for me, but something like that, oral care leads to other care in your body, and so having good oral care is definitely ideal for staying healthy. Also, putting on lip balm. I know it's been really dry and maybe your lips are chapped. It's okay to put on lip balm, and you can put on a little extra and just do kind of like a moisturizing lip mask if you want. So there's this kind of moving from the face down to the neck. You can definitely massage your neck. You can exercise your neck as best as you can. Definitely don't overdo it. I like one of those gua sha things. You can just kind of go like this with some moisturizer and just always massaging towards the heart, taking good care of your vagus nerve here, calming yourself. This is definitely a form of self-love and self-care. Getting your lymph nodes working and moving. Also, stretch out your back and your chest, doing some light stretches. That's self-care and self-love. Getting a massage, giving yourself a massage, using one of those massage things. Give yourself a spa day. It's definitely okay to pamper yourself and relieve yourself from all the stress and worries of not having your house cleaned. Moving down the body, doing lots of stretching. You want to get down to your feet, and if you can reach your feet, massage your feet. You can also kind of roll a ball underneath your foot. You can also do small foot exercises like rolling your ankles or just stretching your feet out a little bit. But paying attention to certain parts of your body is definitely part of self-care, even if it sounds silly. And these are all clutter-free. You don't have to run out and buy anything. You don't have to run out and pay for a pedicure. This is all stuff that you can do for self-care and self-love for Self-Love Sunday on today's podcast. I also wanted to cover some other ways that self-care can look like. Turning off the news for a while. I know a lot of us are curious human beings and we want to know what's going on in the world. And then we get all upset and it ruins your entire day, makes you feel depressed, makes you feel really bad. So, a form of self-love is actually turning off the news for a while. Okay? You could read a book, learn something. Learning is definitely a way to love yourself. You can listen to a podcast or the History Channel or whatever it is that you can do to learn some new information. You could also drink more water. I know we hear it all the time, but by drinking enough water and staying hydrated, that's definitely a form of self-love and self-care. It's really easy to just drink garbage drinks or just not drink enough fluids at all. So by drinking the correct amount, and I don't know what that is, it's all over, it varies the internet, but by drinking, the 8 ounces, 16, 32, 64 ounces of water every single day is definitely a form of self-care and self-love and something you don't have to do on Sundays. And instead of thinking of it as a chore or a task, I mean, these are self-care items to do. This is a way that you are loving yourself. You could also cook something for yourself. Cooking for yourself is definitely a form of self-love and self-care. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could even be as simple as just putting some basic items together in a pan. It doesn't have to be an elaborate 5-star recipe. But cooking for yourself is definitely a form of self-love and self-care. Going outside and getting some fresh air. I know a lot of you like to just stay in your homes and never go out and just have things delivered. But actually going out, having some fresh air, if you're not mobile, taking your walker out, getting some fresh air. If you're comfortable opening up the windows in your home, even late at night when no one can notice, getting some fresh air. Clearing all that stagnant air and energy is definitely a form of self-care. There is a lot to be said about just getting some fresh air. Embrace your spiritual self. That's my last suggestion for a form of self-care. A lot of us just are in the day-to-day, we're in hustle mode, we're depressed. There's so many different ways that we are, but we're not embracing our spiritual selves. So by taking time and exploring your spirituality, you're loving yourself and you're making time for yourself. So I hope you are writing some of these down, or at least thinking about some of these ways that you can love yourself and you can do some self-care for yourself. That doesn't include buying a whole bunch of stuff. It doesn't include anything with organizing. It just has to do with taking care of yourself, because you are a lovely human being. And what you're going through, there's lots of people out there like you. And you deserve to be happy. You deserve to move forward. You deserve to take care of yourself and love yourself, even if you're surrounded by clutter. You deserve to wear those new socks and underwear. You deserve to throw away the old socks and underwear. You deserve it, okay? And I know that's hard for you to accept, but you are worth it and you can do this. But you've got to start by loving yourself. Until next time, collectors, Varian Pierce and I go into a very detailed discussion next week about forgiving ourselves, forgiveness, shame, guilt. We go into all sorts of things. So definitely stay tuned for next week's episode as well. Until next time, collectors. And remember, happiness is a place between too little and too much.
Thank you for listening to the Horganize podcast. Please make sure you're subscribed and join our Horganize podcast Facebook page and get additional tips and challenges.